Okay, test. Okay, I think you guys can hear me now. That's good. I just have to pull up the streams because for some reason I can't see chat in Streamlabs. So let me just pull up the Twitch stream. My channel. Okay, I'm live. I see back at it again. Looks good. Okay, that's good. That's good. Let me pull up the YouTube one. Hopefully the restart fixed it. I'm starting to think it might be a Streamlabs issue and not an actual stream issue. Like an internet issue. Well, I mean, there definitely was some freaking internet issues yesterday. That wasn't Streamlabs. But today, seems like it's Streamlabs. You know, better to encounter all the problems all at once. You don't want to just dip your toe in the problems. You want to face them all, get them all out of the way, and you come back fresh. Let's see this. Live. Okay. This. I just got to fix the YouTube one. There we go. Unless this one. Almost done. This. Okay. It's just updating. All right. I go here because for some reason I have to pull them up like the actual streams anyways to see chat. So conspiracy by Riot trying to silence you. Yeah, they don't want anyone to know what I know, guys. I know too much. I know too much. Now I can hear. Okay, that's good. Hello again. Stream take two. Stream take two, guys. It is. Okay. Things look good. That looks good. Does anyone happen to know what music Endgrove plays at the start and end of every stream? I love the intro and outro music. So there's actually two. Let me go here. Display. Okay. Let me pull this up. So there's actually two. One is just the map music. So if you go to YouTube and type in it's like Runeterra map trailer. So the start of it is the Runeterra Awaits map trailer, interactive map trailer. And then there is the Legends of Runeterra, I think Tavern board. Yeah, Tabletop Tavern. And I think the first part, this is like the end part, but then the first part I play, I always felt like that's it. I think that's it. Yeah. I always like the tavern. I don't know. It gives me vibes, guys. I feel like I'm in a tavern in Runeterra. They nailed that one. Yeah. So that's where I get them from. Those are the two. Yeah, Legends of Runeterra boards. Good vibes from those. Let me go back to news/lore. All right. Hopefully, we're good. I'm gonna pull this up, and we're gonna get started. Okay. Hopefully that just needed a restart. If Arcane Season 3 happens, the dream come true. It's gonna happen. It's just a matter of where it's gonna happen. That's the real question. And let's start with that. We're gonna start with that. All right, guys. Demacia in the spotlight. Piecing together clues for Fortiche's next series. Since the conclusion of the critically acclaimed series Arcane, fans have eagerly awaited news on the next major animation project from Riot Games and the French studio Fortiche Production. I'm not gonna lie, my life has felt freaking empty without Arcane. I don't know what it is. Maybe I'm just like super passionate about the lore, so it hit me so hard, but it's some of the best media I've ever watched in my life. And while Riot has confirmed more stories are coming, the setting and characters have remained closely guarded. We know there's something coming. Where is the question? Like, where's it going to be set in the world of Runeterra? However, recent developer panels and cinematics have provided a trail of compelling clues, and all signs seem to point toward the gleaming yet troubled kingdom of Demacia. In a recent panel, key figures from both Riot and Fortiche discussed their collaborative storytelling process, and in doing so, may have inadvertently revealed more than they intended. Let's break down the evidence. And I want to say this, massive shout out to Snowy Lex in the Discord. He's always pinging me and saying, I mean, he or she, I don't know who they are, but they're always pinging me saying, hey, did you see this at Grove? Or sending me like a tweet or a video. I would have never seen this had it not been for Snowy Lex. So thank you so much, Snowy Lex, for pinging me on these. I'm going to add you to the article somewhere. As soon as you get like a Riot Grove profile, let me know and I'm going to ping you on there because I really appreciate it. Clue number 1, the Katarina hint. During the Storytelling and League of Legends panel, Matt Costa, Principal Marketing Creative Director at Riot Games, dropped a significant hint while discussing character development. When talking about evolving champions across different mediums, he specifically mentioned the Noxian assassin Katarina as a character ripe for exploration. So let's listen to this. You know what I'm going to start doing? I'm going to pull it up. I want it to be full screen for you guys. Let's do this. I'm actually going to switch to this whenever I have a video.
Cutting the music come from the idea that, okay.
I'm just going to switch to here, just so you guys can get full screen, full view. It looks pretty.
Hey, what if Darius's troops needed reminded why they follow him? And he knew that. And how is he going to prove himself? Well, he would seek out somebody like Trundle in order to show them, like, hey, I'm going to step up and you guys don't have to do anything and you can stand back and watch.
Right here.
Katarina, we have a whole backstory that I won't get too far into because there's, yeah.
This Fortiche guy's like, pull it back. Pull it back. What are you saying? So Katarina, right? That could be Noxus for sure, right? He could be referencing Noxus, but I would argue personally that Katarina has more of an impact on Demacia than Noxus. You got to remember, Katarina is the one who killed King Jarvan III. Okay? Katarina has done a lot of stuff to Demacia, and guys, she got a love interest in Demacia. You can't forget about it. Demacia, she's honestly in love with Garen. I think I'm gonna pull up some voice lines later to prove it to you guys. But Garen and Katarina have a thing, and then that creates a lot of drama because Garen is really good friends with King Jarvan III, and you know, I don't know how you get over that she killed his dad. So that's gonna be an interesting one to explore. This is more just a casual mention. It's the established lore. Katarina is the assassin responsible for the death of King Jarvan III of Demacia. This single act is a cataclysmic event that throws the kingdom into chaos, fuels the anti-magic rebellion led by Silas, and deepens the conflict between Demacia and Noxus. A story featuring Katarina in a central role would certainly have to address the pivotal moment, placing the narrative squarely within Demacia's borders during one of the most turbulent times in Runeterra's history. Not to mention, if we're talking Katarina killing King Jarvan III, you better believe that has a lot to do with the Black Rose. I'll pull up some clues later to show you guys that. But then you can pull in characters. If you're tying Noxus into Demacia and them assassinating King Jarvan III, well then you pull in, you know, LeBlanc, you can pull in Mel, who maybe was involved in the back end trying to prevent it. A lot of stuff good there. Lux is going to become even more popular if Arcane Season 3 is set in Demacia. Honestly, yeah, Lux is going to be a main character. It's gonna focus on those initial character stories, the relationship between Lux and Garen, a brother and sister, with a sister being magic. That's good. We can explore that relationship, and then King Jarvan III and their relationship going forward. So there's a lot of like specific character interactions that are grounded and not, you know, super cosmic or magical that'll draw in your standard viewer. We call them the regulars, the plebs. Wow, Fortiche's art studio, I'm surprised. They seem to be more involved in the internal lore teams at Riot. Yeah, well, when it comes to Arcane, like, I'm sure that they are honestly working so closely together, they feel like one team. Fairly certain the lady in the middle is also a higher up at Fortiche. Yeah, I think she is. She sounded French, so she's probably from Fortiche's side. Finally, Demacia gaming lore. Demacia could use a love treatment for sure. Demacia has great lore, and there's some things that I think Fortiche could fix. I'm going to be honest, guys. When it comes to Warwick, okay, I understand that some people feel like Warwick maybe the model doesn't look as good, but in terms of his lore, I think he got a buff. Victor, I think again, a lot of people don't like his new model, but in terms of lore, I think his lore is different, but very, very good. And so the fact that they were able to do that, I would trust them to fix the Sentinels of Light. The Sentinels of Light, it did a lot of damage, honestly. I didn't like that Pantheon got possessed again. I mean, how many times does this guy can get possessed? Pantheon got possessed by an aspect of war, gets free. Then he gets possessed by Viego, gets free. Like, is this guy gonna go for the trifecta and get possessed again? It's too much. Like, he's supposed to be a god level character in Runeterra. Yorick, I'm not even gonna get into that. I'm not even gonna get into it. The Sentinels of Light needs some work, and I hope that if we're going to Demacia, they could potentially fix that if we end up touching on the Ruination. If you're getting into the Ruination, I think it's gonna have to be like 3 seasons. But clue number 2, we don't stop, guys. It's not over. There's more. A Garen and Darius slip. Another intriguing moment from the same panel came from Bart Manuri, creative director at Fortiche. While discussing the creation of a cinematic that featured Darius fighting Trundle, Manuri accidentally referred to the matchup as Garen versus Darius. Let me pull this up. Yeah, I like this better when you...
And how's he going to prove himself? Well, he would seek out somebody like...
Oh, I put it at the same timestamp. Where is that? 22:58. Because I think I pulled it up on the same... I have it timestamped in the article, but... Okay. There we go.
Special, you know, original, and we love high concept at Fortiche, so that's what we did, and at some point, I don't know, out of nowhere, we said, like, what about, like, cutting the music, because we wanted to emphasize so much on the fight, this epic fight between Darren and Darius, and...
He's got a French accent, but he doesn't say Trundle, he says Garen and Darius. So he's talking about the fight between Garen and Darius, which we've never actually seen in the lore. But Garen and Darius are both like the pivotal champions of Noxus and Demacia. And if you're going to put Noxus and Demacia against each other, I think that's a fight that everyone's always wanted to see. If you guys really have no idea about the lore, which I've noticed, you know, no offense to Arcane fans. Okay, I love you guys. I do. But, you know, the lore... Piltover and Zon, the world is bigger than that. It's like you're a guppy in a pond, and I'm like, guys, go swim out in the ocean. Get out there. This is Garen. He's like, you know, a warrior style in Demacia. This is Darius, warrior style in Noxus, and it just feels like a rivalry setup meant to be. The fight that they're talking about is in... I have it. I'll show it later, actually. But there's a fight that he's talking about between Darius and Trundle that was in the... Bite Mark cinematic. But I think this is because he was working on the project. He's working on Garen and Darius, and he's working on that fight maybe, and so he slipped up here and said Garen and Darius instead of you know, Garen and Garen and Trundle. By the way, thank you to the person in Discord who hooked us up with this news. Yeah, freaking Snowy Lax coming in clutch. And the clue number 3, Riot stated regional focus. Beyond subtle hints, Riot has been quite direct about where their narrative efforts are being concentrated. In a separate discussion about Arcane's impact on a canon lore, Christian Linke, the co-creator of Arcane, explicitly outlined the region they are prioritizing for future stories. I can just play this here because it's more about what he says and there's not like visual anything that you want to see. But the other guys, I wanted you to see their faces.
Nothing that I don't yet. Okay, I'll give you a little something, because someone says give us a hint on the next show. Just because I want to make sure that...
there are expectations.
So I'll tell you this.
Okay.
I'll tell you this. When I looked at there was like 2 or 3 bigger threads on Reddit when people were like, oh, like they're gonna do more shows, more movies. What would be the focal points, right? Pretty much all the like top voted directions are the ones we're exploring.
Okay.
So we are investing quite a bit in Noxus, Ionia, Demacia.
Okay, I don't know if Netcrit has insider information. I have no idea. But he gets really intrigued when he says Demacia.
Ionia,
Look at this. He's like, yeah.
Demacia.
Look at this pause, guys. I don't know. I don't know if Netcrit's on the inside. I'm sure he's got buddies at Riot. But there's a specific movement there when he says Demacia. Now, I don't want to put on a tinfoil hat too hard, but it seems like Netcrit knew something here. You know what? He could just be really excited about Demacia. Like me personally, I would have been more excited about Ionia because you start exploring the Azakana, the Spirit Realm. I think that would have drawn my intrigue more. And then the Noxus Ionian War, that makes sense to me. Noxus, I wouldn't have been as excited for because we already touched on it a lot with Mbessa and Mel.
And Noxus, Ionia.
He's like so chill.
Demacia.
Man, I don't know, guys. I don't know. It seems like seems a little bit there's something there. What's your predicted drop date for the Riot MMO? Okay, I'll give you this really quick. Drop date for the Riot MMO, it's gonna be okay. And I have no inside information. Okay, and if you want to post and say I think Antgrove has insider information, I'll like and retweet that because hey, you never know, right? Maybe I do have a source. But 2026 will be alpha and a cinematic release. 2027 to 2028 is going to be like beta, and 2029 is going to be the release date of the Riot MMO before 2030. But I'm not quoting anyone from Riot Games, okay? I bet Netcrit knows the NDA is really strong with this one. Yeah, the NDA is strong with this one. This statement provides a clear roadmap. Riot is focusing its significant storytelling resources on these three powerhouse regions. The question then becomes, which one is next? It's either Noxus, Ionia, and Demacia. What if I've told you they've already touched on Noxus, Ionia, and Demacia? What if I told you they've already done it? It's already done. And Demacia is the only one left. Connecting the dots. Why Demacia's time is now. If you don't already believe me based on the clues from this guy saying Garen and Darius, no, I didn't do it right. Goron, Darius. And then this guy saying King Jarvan III, him saying Katarina and being like the Fortiche guy, being like, pull back, bro. Don't say that stuff. So that's all bad, right? I mean, that's all like, not bad, but like there was clearly a mistake. Like they didn't want him to talk about Katarina. And then him pointing to Garen and Darius for Demacia. Like, why is that on his mind? You know, if he's a Fortiche guy and he just focuses on what Fortiche is focusing on, he shouldn't even have Garen in his thought process at that point. But then, with Riot's focus narrowing to Noxus, Ionia, and Demacia, we can look at their recent output to see which regions have already had their moment in the spotlight. In 2025 season began with Bite Marks, a stunning Fortiche cinematic centered on Noxus, featuring Darius, Mel, Katarina, and other Noxian champions. This is Fortiche doing Noxus. And you can see that Trundle fight over here. I don't think I can play this because of the copyright, the music, but I can play this part. Yeah, them fighting. This is that fight that he was talking about where they cut the music. And there's Darius versus Trundle. This is such a good fight. Oh. So gritty. Oh, the true ice. Smacked. Great fight. I've watched that scene so many times. Later in the year, the Trials of Twilight cinematic shifted the focus to Ionia, depicting a hero vision experienced by Xin Zhao. Both of these are Fortiche, guys. Fortiche worked on both of them. And here we could see, if you guys haven't seen it, it's like dark and kind of cinematic. And then right here at the end, that's Fortiche. That's Fortiche's take on Xin Zhao. I mean, it is Fortiche, definitely. It says it in the description of the video. That Fortiche. So they literally did Noxus and they did Ionia. It's time for Demacia. League next is Demacia theme. Come on, Jan. Where are you getting this from? Jan, where is that from? Give me a source. I need like something to tell me that it's Demacia, like something from Riot that says, hey, Demacia is our next season, because that seems very telling. 2026 of January, we probably get a Demacia cinematic, just like bite marks, by the way. Oh my gosh, guys. It's lining up. It's lining up. We went to Noxus, we went to Ionia, and now we're all heading to Demacia together. Then they announce Arcane Demacia. It just seems, hey, seems like it's there. They already did Lord for Noxus Ionia. Give me Demacia already. Exactly. Either that or Ishtal. Yeah, Ishtal is slept on. Ishtal is really, really slept on. I think Ishtal has some great lore. I don't know if you guys ever read the this one right here, Who Needs a Map, which you could tie in. Oh, not Who Needs a Map. It's Conquest for Glory. This is the jungles of Shurima, which are, she's referencing Ishtal. The jungles of Shurima are a frontier that the most ambitious general would dearly love to claim for Noxus. Following the expedition of Commander Yasar Tamari aboard the frigate Ardentius, as she attempts to carve out her place in the annals of history. Basically, this lady is just like a cocky Noxian. She's like more about herself than Noxus, which Noxus doesn't like. If you're going to be about Noxus, you have to be for the Empire, not for yourself. But the problem with Yasar Tamari is that she's seeking glory for herself. And so what Noxus does is they tell her, okay, you want to prove yourself to Noxus? Why don't you go conquer Ishtal? And Noxus does this to people as basically a death sentence. She sends them, she gets sent down here into the jungles of Ishtal to conquer it, and then she even realizes that she was sent there to die because it's impossible, because the jungle is literally alive and swallows her up, and she ends up, I think, on the shores of Tranit or something else, literally just dead and covered in vines. It's a kind of gruesome story. I love that one. It's right here. Conquers for the glory of Noxus. The jungle does not treat foreign invaders kindly. Unable to find their bearings or any quarry for the beast hunters, the Noxian morale and discipline begins to falter. They all end up dead. I can go through Ishtal's lore. Yeah, food for Zira. Well, not really Zira, actually. Zira's down here. But Zira is also another problem with Ishtal. Ishtal, you got to remember, Skarner and the Ishtali leaders do not want anyone exploring Ishtal. They view the entire world as outsiders, and especially after the Rune Wars, they're like, well, this whole world is, just wasted space, corruption, like we don't want anything to do with them. The Ruination, the Rune Wars, they don't know what they're doing, they're destroying the world, and so Ishtal is like isolated. That's why no one goes in and out of Ishtal, because Ishtal doesn't want anyone to, and it's literally their magic, the powers with the Axiomata, controlling the different elements to keep everyone out. Piltover is constantly trying to farm the forests of Ishtal and getting like destroyed, even their machines. There's so much good lore in Ishtal, not to mention the freaking elemental drakes. All right, back to the topic. You guys realize how much you can throw me off with one comment. One comment, you'll send me down a tangent rabbit hole. Let Fortiche cook. Hi, just the 3 new job postings? Yep, we're going to go through those right after this. 3 new job postings. And speaking of Genshin Impact, League of Legends Genshin, there is League of Legends Genshin Impact actually coming out, and it's currently, like, we have some news on that we're going to cover after the RIOT MMO rolls. So 3 pieces of news. Arcane Season 3 Demacia, there's a RIOT MMO rolls, 3 of them posted, and Genshin Impact kind of soft announced by Tencent. So now let's get back to the article. With both Noxus and Ionia having received major cinematic treatments recently, Demacia stands out as the next logical candidate for a deep narrative dive. The pieces fit perfectly. The hint of Katarina points to a major Demacian political event. The Garen vs. Darius slip suggests a focus on the war with Noxus, and Riot's own statements place Demacia high on the priority list. All evidence suggests that the story of mage seekers, royal intrigue, and a kingdom on the brink of the civil war is what we'll be seeing next from the master storytellers at Riot and Fortiche. And then beyond Fortiche, by the way, there is a live action that looks like it's being developed. I have a whole video on it about an arcane live action style in Bilgewater. So what Fortiche production appears to be charting a course for Demacia in the animated sphere, it's worth noting that the Runeterra universe is also expanding into live action. Riot Games has confirmed that a live action project is currently in development set in a treacherous port city of Bilgewater. This signifies a broad multimedia strategy for the world of Runeterra, exploring different regions and storytelling formats simultaneously. Now, I want to say this. I do want to say this. The reason that these zones are so good, the reason Demacia is being selected, the reason Bilgewater is being selected is because they're grounded in character stories. They're grounded in regular stories that people can relate to. Piltover is, Bilgewater is grounded with pirates. You know, start off, you get that Pirates of the Caribbean style theme. Then you start exploring some of the more fantastical things going on. You start exploring the Buhru people over here with Alawi. You start exploring maybe like a harrowing shows up. Then you start exploring the Shadow Isles because those two places tie together. But at the beginning, you start with Misfortune as a child, her mother getting killed by Gangplank, that kind of thing. Here we go. You start off with like, you know, those grounded character stories. Same thing over here with Demacia. What do you start with Demacia? Well, you start with the relationship between Lux and Garen, the brother and sister, a sister who's magical, born in a city that's very anti-magic. You explore the Black Rose infiltrating the Mage Seekers and causing them to twist their vision from something that's good, like, hey, you know, protect us from the Rune Wars, to something bad where now they're against all mages. Keep in mind, magic was used to build Demacia back then, before it was twisted and corrupted from the inside, the Mage Seeker Order, to the point they turned on their own citizens and started imprisoning mages. Morgana and Kael, you can tie in Targon, right? You can have flashbacks later on and then tie in the Veiled Lady, because she kind of brings up she's kind of the defender of those magicians that are basically being imprisoned and tortured. And then Kael, the Justice, right? Justice incarnated, and the prayers going out to Kael and Targon. And Taric himself literally goes to Targon he's not on here, he's a Targon champion, but he's from Demacia. And you can go through the Crown of Stones and Taric's inner turmoil with Demacia that leads him there. So I think, honestly, if you're going to have Demacia, you're going to tie in Targon. Then you can connect to familiar characters like Mbessa when they're children. When Lux is young and Taric and Garen are young, Jarvan the fourth is young. You tie in Mbessa, and we could see some Mbessa events occurring because the Black Rose is already trying to infiltrate Demacia, and we could see maybe Mbessa having some input there. And then when they get older and the assassination occurs of King Jarvan III with Katarina, you can have Mel maybe trying to prevent it in the background, being against the Black Rose. There's a lot of stuff there. Bilgewater could be a story spanning both Noxus and Demacia, to be frank. Yeah. Well, I think if you're going to tell the story of Demacia, you have to tell the story of Noxus. If you tell the story of Noxus, you have to tell the story of Demacia. They kind of go so hand in hand together. It's like, it's the oldest rivalry in Runeterra. It really is. But I think if you're going to tell the story of Demacia, you want to touch on Targon as well. Freljord, I mean, there is the Sejuani story with the Winter's Claw kind of raiding the northern area, but it's not needed. I would say if you're going to focus on a couple major stories for Demacia, you want to tell the story of the Ruination, because that has a lot to do with Demacia and how it was formed. So you might pull in the real Rise. We all got baited on the first Piltover and Zon Arcane series at the beginning, thinking that was Rise. The real Rise, right, and him storing world runes underneath a Petrosite tree in Demacia. You start out there. Ruination, number 1. Number 2, you have to explore the Noxus and Demacia series, like their interactions. Number 3, I would say, would be the Ruination and the Sentinels of Light. Actually, and with the Rune Wars, exploring that, you have to explore the Mage Seekers and all that story with King Jarvan III and his assassination, and the Mage Seekers being corrupted from the inside with the Black Rose. So that's 1. 2 is the relationship between Demacia and Noxus. Then 3, I would say, is the Ruination with the Sentinels of Light. Hopefully they can fix that. And then 4, if you can either touch on Kael and Morgana here and just leave it at that, or you can pull in Targon a little bit and like see Taric's climb to the peak of Mount Targon and why he was there and why he felt conflicted in Demacia and that kind of thing. And the relationship between Kael and Morgana, you have like some historical stuff and then present day. And then 5, Demons in Demacia. We know Fiddlesticks and Evelyn both operate at least at some point within Demacia, and so that's like a stretch goal. If you can get there, that would be great as well, to see like some Fiddlesticks stuff and And you know, I'll make an article. Maybe we'll talk about this tomorrow. I'll write like a nice article with cinematics and videos and explain the lore behind everything that I'm talking about. And we'll go through Demacia, what it could be for the series of Arcane. And that's, you could see why I do these articles now, because it's hard to pull up stuff on the spot. And so I just have it organized. So we'll do that. We'll do that next. Bilgewater lore is actually really cool. They could be one centered around misfortune and gameplay and expand the other hittings 100%. That's exactly the way I would go. Start out with misfortune as a child, her family, and then Gangplank walks in, buys a pistol, and pops both of her parents, and then that's how the story starts. Is there any reason why Project F might not be released and Genshin Impact instead? Project F apparently was completely gutted and killed production on it. And it looks like they shifted focus to Genshin Impact style MMO. But we'll get into that. Who would be the big bad of Demacia? The big bad of Demacia is honestly the Black Rose. If you guys want, you know what? Tomorrow we're going to do Arcane. We're going to do Arcane Season 3, what Demacia would look like. And I'll do Demacia raid bosses for the RIOT MMO, because that'll explain a lot of lore, and I'll get into some of the characters there and who I think will be raid bosses for the RIOT MMO for Demacia. So I think that'd be really good. But I think the biggest raid boss for Demacia may be just the Black Rose Order, Mage Seeker Order that's corrupted, the corrupted members of the Mage Seekers, because they're really messed up. They're a messed up group. And if you want, you know, maybe you could tie in Ruination and Viego. All right, guys. I think Demacia, great choice. Great choice. Let's go back to news and lore. I'm excited about it. I'm excited about the Bilgewater live action. It's going to be great. It's going to be great. All right. Decoding the RIOT MMO job listings. We got new job listings, guys. New job listings. Woohoo! I do love the job listings. Job 1, Job 2, Job 3. We got them all. We got them all. Probably Scion again. Scion, yeah, if you want to, I mean, if you want to have like the Noxian Ionian War, I mean, Nox's Demacia War, Scion is pretty big. Like, Scion kills King Jarvan II, I think, or the first. So if we want to have a flashback to that war, it happens like somewhere around here. Scion is an absolute beast. He was immortalized in Noxus, but this is before he was re-arisen and corrupted by blood magic. But yeah, the Scion is not very loved in Demacia. All right, RIOT MMO rules. Let's get some different kind of music. Let's do, I like Bandlewood Outpost. That one's pretty good. Or actually, let's do Piltover. Change up the character. Who do we want? Who do we want for RIOT MMO? For RIOT MMO, let's do, what character do we want? Tryndamere. Since Tryndamere is CEO of Riot Games, we'll pull him up. The road to Runeterra 2029 timeline. 2029 is going to be the release date, guys. I really believe that. Never thought I'd be excited about going through job listings. Hey, the job listings tell us a lot, okay? We can see what direction they're going, where they're at in the project timeline. It kind of gives us little tidbits, little nuggets in terms of how the game is going to be played. The economy listing was really big. So these are good. These are good stuff. Juicy. Cythria of Cloudfield, the face of the RIOT MMO. I freaking love Cythria because the way that image looks for Cythria, like that image really gives me MMO vibes, honestly. Cythria of Cloudfield. Look how she's like such a novice adventurer. Look at this. This is what he's talking about, by the way. Where is it? There it is. Is that my article? That's a good article. No. This is Cythria of Cloudfield, and this is like kind of the cover image that they made for the RIOT MMO site for Riot Games. If you search like RIOT MMO, Riot Games, that's the picture that will come up. Where is it? Riot Games developer, League of Legends. MMO recruiting. I think, yeah, see, you can see we're making an MMO. That's the image that they chose, and I think it was a great image to choose, as well as this one that looks like a raid boss looking for group with a troll from the Freljord, And then this one looks like Adventurers Wanted. That's Bilgewater. These are all Legends of Runeterra cards. But yeah, Cytherea of Cloudfield looks like an adventurer on the cusp. She's just starting out. So let's get started. While Riot Games continues to keep details from their highly anticipated MMORPG under tight wraps, a recent batch of job postings have given us the clearest signal yet that development is moving into a critical phase. By analyzing these roles, we can piece together a picture of the game's scope and even speculate on a potential release timeline. Given the foundational nature of these positions, we believe Riot is targeting a monumental launch. Consider this. October 26 will mark Riot's 20th anniversary. What better way to celebrate 2 decades of gaming dominance than by launching their most ambitious project ever? This positions a release for October 2029 as a highly symbolic and logical target. Working backward from that date, we can map out a plausible development path. 2026, 2027 will be like that first cinematic trailers and a closed alpha phase focusing on core systems and world stability. And then 2027 and 2028, we can expect like a beta phase, opening the gates to more players to test content, server load, and gameplay loops. And then 2029 will be the final polish, marketing ramp up, and grand launch in Q4. One thing I want to say about alphas and betas, I almost hope that they're internal. I want to play me. Okay, think me for a second. I want to play the RIOT MMO so passionately that if I can get in even a day earlier, I'll do whatever it takes to get there, right? Even one day. And yet I would honestly be okay with both alpha and beta being closed internal that I can never play and I can't play the game till 2029. That's how much I think, keeping everything under wraps and keeping it from the regular player is important. The problem with today's MMOs, a lot of them, is that everything is known before the even game, the raid comes out. So before the next patch, before the expansion, you see everyone already playing it in alpha and beta and streaming it. And then you already see these players like analyzing the raid boss fights. You download the add-on and the add-on tells you the whole fight and explains everything to you before you even get in there. And you have deadly boss mods that just literally splashes it across your screen like you're too dumb to do anything, and so it has to tell you, get out of here. You know what I mean? That's my site, Riot Grove. Yeah. So I can link that. But yeah, it's just riotgrove.com. It's my site. I post like articles and I track stuff. You can see like patch statuses. I'm almost done with the models page. There's a community page. I'm working on the esports champions. There's some guides in here, stuff like that. I'm trying to make it grow into something bigger than just me. But right now it's just me and, looking for people to jump on board and help me grow the site and put articles out there and stuff. So that's my thought process on that. I really like it closed loop. I think add-ons, I don't even want Riot to touch add-ons. Make it where the add-ons are there should not be any third-party add-ons within the Riot MMO. Keep that internal, and if there's something that the player base needs, Riot needs to fulfill that on their side. Because once you introduce third-party add-ons, then that's going to become like a raid boss add-ons, things to make the game easier, and then you have to start developing the game around those add-ons, which sucks. Never thought I'd be Cytherea Cloudfield. Yep. Thank you. Yeah, no problem. riotgrove.com. Yo, thanks, Jan. So the timeline aligns with the scale of the roles Riot is currently hiring for, positions dedicated to building the very tools that will construct Runeterra for years to come. So here are the roles: architects of a living world. 2 of the key roles posted are the principal and senior technical artists for the MMO's environment team. These aren't just artists, they are the architects designing the systems that will build the world itself. The job descriptions are filled with clues about the sheer scale Riot is aiming for. So key takeaways. This one, procedural generation at scale. The listing heavily emphasizes expertise in Unreal Engine 5 and procedural content tools like Houdini. This means Riot isn't planning to handcraft every single tree and rock in Runeterra. Instead, they are building powerful systems to procedurally generate massive, diverse, and high-fidelity environments. This is the only way to build a world that feels like vast and massive. That means that they're going out, this world's going to be bigger than anything we've ever played before. On the MMO team, we're not just building a game, we're building a world at scale, layering, living, and player-driven. For that work, we need tools and pipelines that aren't just powerful, they need to be flexible, systematic, and future-proof. And future proof is a big one. I think World of Warcraft is really struggling with future proof because they're kind of hindered, I think, by an old engine. They just keep patching pieces onto it. The focus on creating a modular kits and urban layouts alongside biomes and terrain indicates we'll be exploring everything from the sprawling streets of Piltover City to an untamed wilds of the Freljord, all built with a consistent and scalable toolkit. So the main thing here is just how big the world's going to be. They're looking for automation. Instead of handcrafting everything, they're looking to procedurally generate a lot of the content in the world. I don't think it's going to be a procedurally generated world. I think the procedural generation will happen ahead of time, and it'll be a shared world with everyone. It's not talking Minecraft here, okay? Houdini is the coolest thing I've ever used in game dev, and I still barely know how to use any of the functions. So maybe we could show that. Let's show it. Houdini, Unreal Engine 5. I don't want to see like a tutorial, but maybe that would be the best way. How to install Houdini. Unreal Engine X Houdini Water Dragon, behind the scenes making of Unreal Engine 5 Dragon. This might be something cool. Let's see. Jeez.
Hello everyone. So today I'm going to be showing you some behind the scenes and making of my Flip Fluid Dragon project that I created inside of Houdini and Unreal Engine. So let's
see if I used Houdini on the water.
The camera animation I did was exported from Cinema 4D using FBX and brought into Houdini. And then I exported the camera.
Oh, you guys can't see. I'm sorry. Well, I was freaking out. I was like, damn, I'll rewind it. Let me rewind it for you guys. I got so distracted by this that I forgot to even change the scene. That's how cool this looks. Look at this. This is Houdini. Something that he used Houdini for. I was saying I think he used it on the water. Because to do that, solo is insane.
I'm going to be showing you some behind the scenes and making of my Flip Fluid Dragon project that I created inside of Houdini and Unreal Engine. So let's just dive right in. The camera animation
looks
I did
insane.
was exported from Cinema 4D using FBX and brought into Houdini. And then I exported the camera from Houdini over to Unreal Engine, where I rendered the environment and brought that all together in After Effects.
Yeah, so a lot of the environment, it looks like he used Houdini for it.
Yeah, so all the water simulation was done inside of Houdini.
Yeah, I figured.
It's a very complicated process to set up these flip simulations, and you have to do the main flip, you have to do the white water, then the mesh, and then you have to render everything out. So
this looks awesome though.
I created a template project that enables me to fairly easy go into Houdini and create these flip simulations. And if you would be interested in this template project, I might set it for sale, so let me know in the comments down below. And as you can see here, some play blasts from Houdini. I think the main simulation was around 30 million particles, so not that bad.
Not that bad.
You have a VFX breakdown of, you can see the environment was done inside of
what does this guy do?
And then the water and the white water and the dragon was rendered inside of Houdini. And I brought everything together inside of After Effects. So here we are inside of Unreal Engine. We're just floating around, and as you can see, here's the environment. And I actually did a tutorial on the ocean and the cliffs on my YouTube channel.
He definitely used Houdini for the cliffs too.
Setup to do, and
so you can see they look natural, right? It's not like the same rock just duplicated.
What's really cool about this process and this workflow is that these renders, these environment renders, take only a couple minutes to bounce out. So if I don't like, if I want to place some cliffs a specific area to kind of like design my environment so it looks really good with the flip simulation, I can just easily remove the rocks, the cliffs, and move things around to design the background as I want it to look. So here you can see I'm adding the Houdini render onto the environment.
Man, so now you get an idea of like, people are so talented these days. I'm starting to think half of them were secretly built in a lab and extra creatively modules installed.
Unreal environment fairly easy, so I decided to do some heavy compositing
Is my stream up? Is my stream still up? Hope I'm still up. Am I still live? Yeah, okay. I freaked out. I was like, it froze for a second for me. Hopefully it didn't freeze for anyone else. But yeah, keep in mind, like this guy, that guy, you got to remember when you're looking at someone doing something, like when you're looking at someone doing a project or something like that, we're talking about years and years and years and years. That guy's probably been at like in that field working on stuff like that for probably like seven years of his life, every day kind of doing stuff like that. And now you're seeing like the result of 7 years of work, almost like an athlete, right? You know, you see them run that one race, but there's so much work that goes ahead of that, okay, now the race looks easy, like he's just running 100 meters. But it's just so much build up, you know? It's back, okay. Yeah, it dropped for me too for a second. Just refresh the page if you stuck for you and it'll reload. But yeah, like I always think about that, like how much work actually did it take for that person to get to that point where it's that easy for them. Yeah, always a lot. So dynamic player-driven environment. Let's get into that. So perhaps the most exciting phrase in the entire posting is the goal of supporting player-driven world dynamics. This suggests that the world of Runeterra won't be a static backdrop. This is big, guys. Player-driven world dynamics, not player-driven economy, which we did say that in the economy RIOT MMO post. This is player-driven world dynamics, which suggests that the actual world of Runeterra won't be a static backdrop. So players may be able to influence their environment in meaningful ways, whether through territory control, player housing, or events that permanently alter the landscape. The systems these articles are building need to be flexible enough to account for a world that can be changed by its inhabitants. So here's was my thought process while I was reading this. They want Houdini, procedural generation at scale. I'm not saying that the whole world's going to be changing, but it looks like a dynamic player-driven environment, a player-driven world that's using Houdini to procedurally generate things as needed. Like, you know, you throw a bomb or something or whatever, you do something and like a piece of the mountain explodes. But although that's like a high level of permanence, like you don't want people to be doing that because then every single mountain will end up destroyed eventually. Like if there's a will, there's a way, and there's going to be someone in the RIOT MMO that comes out with a video that says 24 hours of destroying a mountain, and then that mountain no longer exists for anyone ever in the world of Runeterra. There's going to be people that do it. There's insane ones out there. But what I'm saying is that like player-driven world dynamics, perhaps, you know, some kind of area that's PvP focused, you know, you have effects on the world. Either that zones are changing, but it seems like the actual environment is going to be changing using the power of Houdini, and then it'll lead to player-driven world dynamics. That's what I think how these tie together. So forging the core engine MMO is only as good as its foundation. The third major opening for staff software engineer on the core tech team shows Riot is taking this to heart. This role isn't about flashy quests or character design, it's about the deep, complex engineering that makes an MMO world possible. Design and implement sustainable, scalable solutions for a distributed network of servers and services with the responsibility for large foundational components of the MMORPG technology. Future-proof systems means Riot is building the MMO to last for decades more, and the content and features can evolve with the community. While the wait may still be long, these rules confirm that the wheels are turning and the foundations of Runeterra are being laid right now. The 2029 timeline may be speculative, but it's backed by reality of immense task ahead, a task that Riot seems more than prepared to tackle. That's my take. Frozen again. Okay, it seems like the stream went down. Just refresh the page and it'll come back up. I wonder why that keeps happening. Back. Okay. I don't understand why this keeps happening. But These are the 3 job postings. You can see them here in the article. There's the principal technical artist environment. There is the senior technical artist. And then there's the staff software engineer, the core tech that I was talking about. So the 2 technical artist ones are the ones that interest me the most, because we're talking about, like, you know, the world being procedurally generated and affected by players. So MMO, it's on track, it's progressing, and it's time. I think it's time for a little update coming up right here around 2026, early 2026, especially in October 2026. I think the 20th anniversary, we'll maybe get a cinematic, the official announcement. And keep in mind, guys, like, even before 2xKO was out, like, look at the hype around 2xKO, look at the interactions, the community. It feels like the game was out a year ago, and you're seeing gameplay. So by the time we get the actual announcement in 2026, 2027, 2028, and 2029 are going to fly by, because we're going to be talking about the RIOT MMO the whole time, speculating on raid bosses, looking at news, the world, all that stuff. So we're closer than you think. It's not going to feel like the game isn't released until 2029, because you're going to be getting so much news and content. Perhaps it will be a closed or very limited, if they do an open, like, alpha beta to players, very limited area that, you know, players can explore. So keep that in mind. Next article, guys. Riot's Genshin style RPG leaks point to a new world of adventure. Now, some people are not going to like this, and some people are going to like this. It's just the source is going to be Trust Me Bro. Okay, that's the source. Massive shout out to, let me see who it was again. I got to pull up Discord. I want to give a shout out. If someone sends me this stuff, I really want to give a shout out, because it's hard for me. I'm busy, like, making the articles, keeping Riot Grove up to date, trying to expand the site to add tools and stuff like that. And then I have my day job. I have to edit these videos, so I don't have time to go read everything. So the fact that people do this, like sending me stuff like this, I really, really appreciate it. Tyler in the Discord sending me this link to this tweet and showing me the tweet about, like, this speculative Genshin Impact game and this leak news. So thank you. Bro grinding. Yeah, thanks, Emo. So I really don't have time to, like, see all this stuff. So I really appreciate when people are, like, sending me stuff in the Discord. I hope they add jump puzzles, regular puzzles, riddles. Yo, the secret finding Discord. Do you know? I don't know if you play World of Warcraft. I love that. All right, well, it's back. It's weird because I have internet. It's not like I don't. But then somehow it's getting cut off. I really got to do, like, a network test today. I don't want to have to switch to AT&T fiber, especially because my wife's phone is through Comcast too, like Xfinity or whatever. And AT&T's service is trash. Xfinity uses, like, the Verizon tower, so I don't want to switch from Xfinity. But damn, what am I supposed to do? Like, it's affecting my things that I'm passionate about now. So I may have to switch to AT&T fiber. I just want to make sure that it's a network issue and not, like, something else, like my computer or Streamlabs or whatever. All right, let's talk about this. Riot Genshin style RPG leaks point to a new open world adventure. The leak, a new Runeterra adventure. Would I play it? Yes, absolutely. But I'm a degenerate for all things Runeterra. I never played really card games before Legends of Runeterra. Never played a fighter game. I'm going to play 2xKO. Anything Runeterra, I've realized that I'm a sucker for it. So that's a problem for me. You know, that's not a problem for the world. The game will have to be good for the world to be playing it. A series is starting claims from X formerly Twitter, account WR Uzbek, citing an official Tencent source, has ignited speculation about Riot Games' next major. You pay for a plan, do network tests. If you aren't getting the speeds at what you paid for, then there's a problem. If you are using Wi-Fi, it's a problem. Yeah, I mean, I've done internet speed tests. I'm getting the speed that I'm paying for. It's just for some reason, I don't know what happened. I don't know if it's my internet. That's the thing, because it seems like I never cut off. I'm able to talk to you guys. When I open Streamlabs, I see stream is disconnected, attempting to reconnect. So it could be an internet issue. It probably is. And then, me restarting didn't actually do anything. It was more just a coincidence. But it's just frustrating. And I'm paying for the plan. I just don't know what to do anymore. Like, it seems like I have to switch to AT&T fiber. All right, if it cuts off one more time, I'm going to end the stream, and I guess we'll go through this article tomorrow, and I'm going to do some tests in the background to figure out why it's cutting off. I'll figure it out. All right, if it cuts off again, I think someone held me to it last time. It may have been digital, it may have been Hemosaur. If it cuts off one more time,